Hey there, my name is David Noyes, and I'm going to walk you through how OpenWater helps associations run their conferences virtually. Essentially, the first step of what we do is help associations set up a virtual conference homepage. This is something that can be done on the OpenWater platform, where we can essentially have a microsite with different information about the conference, about, an FAQ, the program, abstract information, things like that. If you and your association already has a conference website, we can also just use that and have a button on there somewhere that says click here to access virtual sessions. For the actual registration side of the conference, there's really three ways this can be done. If you use a registration tool in your AMS right now, we can do a single sign-on integration with that to automatically detect who is registered for the conference. This will also allow someone to do a single sign-on and use the username and password they're already familiar with for your association to access our system. We can also set up registration options in OpenWater for this, and we can also potentially do a manual import of information from a third-party registration platform. Here's an example of what the single sign-on page can look like. And then essentially, once they're logged in, your attendee will get brought to a schedule view here where they see everything that's happening in your conference. They'll be able to be listed out by days and time slots and be able to click through and see the different sessions that are happening. They'll also be able to sort, search, and filter to find individual sessions, which is especially helpful if you have a lot of sessions running at the same time, or just a large number of sessions where maybe it's difficult to see everything from a list view. So these can be filtered by track, category, sponsor group, really whatever kind of differentiating information you have about your different sessions. When your attendee clicks into an individual session, they'll get brought to a details page where they'll basically be able to see whatever information about your session that you want to have available. In this example here, there's a pre-recorded video at the top of the page that attendees can watch, a session description underneath that, and then some author contact information on the side, and sponsors at the bottom. This can be linked to individual abstracts and authors as well. For example, if you have a symposia or panel session where multiple different abstracts or papers are kind of presented as one, we can make sure that those are all linked together. To actually join a live session, we've typically seen our customers do one of two ways of people are able to do a completely live presentation and then live Q&A. Others have done a pre-recorded session that then gets broadcast and then with a live Q&A after that. To actually join the live session, there will be links on the page that people can click on to join. This hooks up with a Zoom integration to make sure that every single person's user account is mapped directly to them joining Zoom. So there's no need to pull up something on their desktop, no need to log into another system. They just click in and they go. OpenWater also automatically configures unique links behind these join session buttons to make sure that no one's able to share this link with someone who has not registered for the conference. The system will also automatically recognize whether or not someone is assigned as a presenter for that presentation, and they will automatically get a Start Webinar button instead that will let them join the session in a different role than attendee to be able to pull up their information, respond to Q&As, be unmuted, have their webcam shown, and things like that. Once someone's actually in the session, they're pretty much able to present as normal and have their slides or video on the screen and have their head floating to kind of talk through things as well. And we can set up panel sessions as well to allow multiple people to be presenting. OpenWater is actually able to provide support for this that we can talk about in a little bit more detail later to make sure that your speakers all know how this works. For exhibitors, we have some options as well. We can set up what we call an Exhibitor Gallery, where we can have a list of the different exhibitors for your conference listed out here. And people are able to basically sort, search, and filter from there. And if they click into one exhibitor in more detail, they're able to see, in this example here, a video from that exhibitor at the top of the page, description below, and some contact info, a sponsor check-in button, which is basically a virtual way of getting a name tag stamped or a conference passport stamped, and also kind of a schedule a meeting button. So high level, that's what we do here at OpenWater. We work with you to set up that online session library to be a directory of all the different session information that's happening in your conference. We do that full integration with your association management system to make sure that all that info goes back and forth between the systems. We auto-record all the sessions that happen to help export that information into an LMS, or even allow people to log back into OpenWater after the conference and see those recordings. Attendees are also able to build out their own agenda in the system. Some optional software we have as well is we can have that exhibitor gallery we just saw. We can set up some capabilities for one-on-one networking and conference-wide live chats as well. And also, if you haven't started collecting information from your speakers yet, OpenWater has a robust abstract management system that can be directly integrated with this as well. Included in working with us is a dedicated project manager who pretty much fully configures everything in OpenWater, fully configures Zoom for you, and also just ties all the systems together. Some optional services we can do on top of that is essentially hands-on event staff to help your attendees and help you as organizers. So we can create training videos in PDFs for your presenters. We can do some practice dry runs with your presenters before the meeting to make sure that their first time presenting virtually isn't while the meeting is happening. And we can also do live support where we basically assign staff members to be working directly with your association on the day of your conference and no other clients. And that way there's a less than 1 minute response time to any questions. We can help organize speaker green rooms and speaker ready rooms to make sure that all that information is pulled up before actually having to go live. And then also just making sure that the organizers, the presenters, and the attendees all know exactly where they need to be during the virtual event. That kind of wraps it up here as the quick spiel of what OpenWater does for virtual conferences. If you're interested in learning more, feel free to check out more about us at getopenwater.com.